Hello and welcome! Today we are recreating one of my most viewed videos. I asked everyone on my Instagram to vote which video I should recreate. I had a couple options. One was styling jeans and a t-shirt in a vintage way. The other one was dressing casually in a 60s and 70s style. And then this one that we are recreating today is styling modern clothes in a vintage style. So I went in my wardrobe and I found pieces that are modern. Most of them I still thrifted just because that is really how I shop. And with this video, I decided to stick to the 60s rather than doing 60s and 70s, even though those two eras really encapsulate my style. It just felt weird trying to throw in some 70s inspired looks with my hair in a very 60s style, my makeup in a very 60s style. So maybe I'll do another video with some 70s inspiration if that is something that you're interested in. But for this one, I just kept it to some mid to late 60s, which is kind of my specialty. If you are on a style journey and you're looking to get a little bit of a vintage inspired look, there is a lot of ways that you can do that without getting exclusively vintage clothes. And I know that shopping vintage can be hard for people for a number of reasons. Number one, size is an issue. Number two, availability depending where you are in the world. I used to live in super rural Wisconsin, so I get it. Costs, you know, you can find things really affordable, but it's always kind of like luck of the draw. But I don't think that you have to have exclusively vintage clothes to get a vintage style. What I'm suggesting before we even start this video is if you are just starting out on your vintage style journey, or maybe you're not even just starting out, but you're having a hard time finding vintage inspired pieces out in the real world, I suggest doing some heavy research. And while you're doing that research, really take note of what it is that you're seeing people wear and how they're wearing it. Look at magazines, movies, interviews, live music, concerts that were videotaped, like any old media. Take it in and take note, because a lot of what makes something look like a certain decade is a certain silhouette, or, you know, a certain color palette was always popular in a certain time versus other color palettes. And once you start knowing what to look for, I think you're gonna start seeing it all over the place. And I'll be hitting on some of those key things to look out for in this video. But if you are just starting off and you don't really have anything, let me just give you a tip that I think is pretty much free as long as you have like some makeup and some basic hairstyling tools. Vintage inspired hair and makeup will take you a long way and will take your look very far into looking like authentically vintage, depending how you style your hair and do your makeup. It might take some time and practice. I have been practicing and messing around and experimenting since I was 15, so I've had some time. And that can take your look from seeming kind of decade ambiguous into really looking like that one particular decade that you're trying to emulate. Now let's just get into the thick of it all. I have 7 outfits here, and with these outfits I tried really hard to pick each item and make sure that it was not a vintage item, because I feel like even mixing like one vintage piece with modern pieces can really help a vintage look, and it makes it super easy. But that's not what this video is. We can do a video like that, but this video, purely modern pieces. So starting off, I've got like this 60s fun mod look. Turtlenecks, always mod beatnik, kind of reminiscent, especially if it's nicely fitted. This one has a lettuce hem, which came out in the 70s, so not quite authentic for the 60s, but we'll let it slide. Turtlenecks you can literally find anywhere, and they fit so many decades, so even if you want to dress just like vintage and you love multiple decades, turtlenecks, you need them. Unless you're living in an area where it never drops below like 60 degrees, and maybe even then, maybe 60 degrees is cold for you and you want a turtleneck, but turtlenecks, I love them. Paired with it is a little mini skirt, of course. Mini skirts in the 60s, like hand in hand. It's nice to find ones that aren't super fitted, and this one was from H&M. The top was from Forever 21 as well. I got it in high school. I've had it all the way till now. I don't plan on getting rid of it. It's actually my favorite turtleneck that I have. Mini skirts are like the epitome of 60s, so unless it has like some weird print all over it, and not meaning weird in a bad way, but just like, you know, something kind of out there that is super modern looking, a mini skirt is gonna look 60s if you style it right. Tights, of course, we got the legs out with the mini skirts. We gotta cover them with tights. These are tights that I had gotten from Sheertex like maybe 3-4 years ago. This thing that's going on with them, I have no idea. Multiple of my pairs of tights have this going on. I don't know if like something happened in the wash or whatever, but I think it kind of looks cool. The tights didn't come like this. They're just supposed to be like a sheer black. Colored tights, black tights, white tights. That is gonna help make a look seem a lot more 60s-esque. You can pretty much get them anywhere. You could get them like online, on Amazon, at Target, at Walmart. Like, tights are out there. And bonus points if you get some fun color or white ones, because those were super popular. Bonus points if there's some fun pattern in it. For shoes, these are shoes that, well, I don't know if you can buy them anymore, but they're from Jeffrey Campbell. And I just got them for our wedding this last August. I wore them for the reception. They're some of my favorite shoes. But these specifically look 60s because of the chunky heel, and then big buckles like this were really popular on shoes. And a lot of like grandma, quote unquote, looking shoes at the thrift store could easily be passed as like 60s style shoes, given like a cute little dress and some tights on with it. Like those little strappy Mary Janes that you see, that's what you're looking for. I went with a long scarf to accessorize this. Another thing that you could do is get like a long kind of statement necklace, but thin scarves, you can find them all over the place. This one is band merch for Palais Royale, and I just have it tied off to the side. But scarves, they're all over at thrift stores. They're all over the place. You could buy them new even, but some neck scarves. And then these sunglasses are Calvin Klein. I got them from Glasses USA like forever ago for a sponsorship. This is kind of like a fun, colorful, more playful mod look. I wouldn't really call it mod, but I could see like the GTOs wearing something like this on like a casual day, maybe where they're sitting around doing crafts, or like Miss Christine is watching Frank Zappa's Kids kind of vibe. But I'm wearing this black dress, which I think the brand on it says Divide, which I believe is like Zara or maybe Target brand. But my bandmate and friend Chris thrifted it and got it for me, so that was really sweet. I love it. It just buttons all the way up the front. It's got like a tiny little collar. Around the sleeves has these little ruffles, and then the drop waist has a little ruffle at the bottom. I layered it underneath the sweater vest that I have. The sweater vest isn't super fitted, so it still is giving that boxy silhouette, which is very, very 60s, especially mod if you're trying to go with that. Like the look you're trying to create basically is kind of boxy. And it's weird that like body shapes go in and out of style. I feel like it's kind of messed up. But the shape then was like this very straight up and down twiggy figure. So as much as you can like create that kind of a look with your body, that'll instantly give off a 60s look. Definitely if that doesn't work for your body type, whatever, forget it, it's not necessary. But just looking for that in clothes can help kind of guide you into the right direction of the area you're going into. So the drop waist was actually a little bit longer than the sweater vest, so I wanted the ruffle to basically hit where the sweater vest's hem was, so I just like pinned it up kind of haphazardly, and I thought it looked pretty cute. And that's just like a little way that you can easily make adjustments to your outfits, is just have some like safety pins around and play with like the placement and how things lay and pin, you know, accordingly. But I was really loving this like bright kind of color pop that I have added in with the sweater vest. I love bright colors with black, and I wanted to keep going with that, so I went with these pink tights. Don't know where they are from. Again, you can find tights literally all over the place. A lot of mine I get thrifted, and you can find them for a pretty decent price usually too. The boots that I'm wearing are these like knee-high suede boots. I got these thrifting, but you can find chunky heeled boots all over the place. You can find them thrifting a lot, but I think for like the 60s look, and these honestly aren't really too 60s looking because of the pointed toe, but that's a personal style preference, but I'll just call myself out here. Pretend that the toe is rounded. If you're looking for more of a true 60s look, you know, go for like a rounded kind of toe. Just look for like chunky heeled boots and look for something that's a little more fitted around the calf and the ankle than like, you know, straight up and down. The necklace was a birthday gift, but again, it's just like those long necklaces, but I feel like the long necklaces kind of help with that elongated straight silhouette that they were really going for in the 60s. And then sunglasses, these ones are from the Hippie Shake. You can buy these right now. They sent me a bunch of stuff from their recent collection and I've been loving these glasses. You can find vintage inspired sunglasses anywhere. Look for like either small ones or big ones, I would say. And these sunglasses are kind of 70s inspired, but like the funky shape is giving editorial 60s for me as well. And then around my wrists, I just have like some simple bangles. I work at my mother-in-law's boutique sometimes. She sells those bracelets there and I couldn't resist. Just simple little bangles, but again, something that's very versatile. Okay, next, this is kind of like a preppy look. It's so preppy in here. So this top, I literally got for $2 at Walmart one time. I was going in to get like some groceries really quick, which is weird because I never ever go to Walmart. And the one time I did, these shirts were on sale for $2 and just like sitting on this rack. I got this red one, I got a white one, and I got a black one. It's just a classic. You can style it in so many ways. Just a classic button up. I feel like collars really help give a 60s look, even if they're not like a super oversized dramatic 60s collar, like a fun dagger collar. It still is giving like a little bit of a vintage vibe. The shorts I'm wearing, I am pretty sure originally they were from like an H&M or a Zara. Got the shirt tucked in. I've got a little belt on. This one I thrifted, it's actually Andrew's, but I have one that's just like it. I got it from Target when I was in high school and it is still one of my favorites. The tights, I think these were a gift to me. These ones have houndstooth. I just wanted to add some kind of like pattern to the outfit, so I decided to do so with these tights. And houndstooth is a very 60s pattern too. And then knee-high or over-the-knee socks were very popular then too. As hemlines were getting shorter, I feel like they were working on other things to do with the legs, and so that's kind of where tights came in for style-wise and probably like some modesty reasons as well. And then of course, like we're gonna have some socks along with that, which I love. So another thing that you can find probably at most stores. For shoes, I just have on some black Mary Janes. This company does make retro inspired shoes. It's called Mod Shoes. Like I said, you can find a lot of things like this that kind of give off the same vibe, like a low chunky heel, you know, maybe some kind of a strap. To accessorize this look, I went with some pearls. This pearl necklace is like a Baroque pearl, so kind of different than, you know, your typical like small little pearl beads. This one is from Huge Tomato, I believe the company is called. Pearls are timeless, they're classic. You really can't go wrong. So with this more mature look, even though there's still some youthful notes, I thought that the pearls would add in some of that elegance and grace. For my hat, I'm wearing a little red beret. Again, something you can find at so many stores, or just with a quick Google search, you can easily find new berets. This one I got thrifting and I just have safety pinned to it a little bow that I made out of like scrap fabric. And then glasses, if you wear glasses, that is another thing that if you're like looking to get new frames sometime, can really add to your vintage look. Like do some research on some 60s style glasses that were popular in that decade. Circles, you know, something a little bit bigger. It's another easy way that you could add a little vintage touch into your look. These ones are from Glasses USA. They do prescriptions. This video isn't sponsored by them, but there's that little bit of information for you. And next, I was trying to pick out like a certain piece and then style around that one piece. So for the first outfit, I picked around the turtleneck. The second outfit I picked around the drop waist dress. The third outfit I picked around the men's tailored shorts. And for this outfit, I picked around the sweater because I feel like sweaters like this, you can find them all over the place. You can find them in thrift stores. A lot of people already have something like this, so I thought that was a good place to start. This one is from Madewell. I got it thrifting. The female symbol is very like 60s, 70s feminist as well, so it just kind of seemed fitting. And again, a little collar goes a long way. I have on this not vintage button-up shirt I got thrifting. It's like a Marc Jacobs silk shirt. Just layering things like this can give more of a vintage vibe. Like just having the collar peek out really does a lot for this look, I feel like. And with it, I have paired this faux suede mini skirt I got thrifting. Suede was a very popular fabric of the time, so if you see anything like that or faux suede, especially mini skirts, I feel like that's a good thing to grab, or jackets. A lot of these outfits have similar color schemes. I'm sorry, but clearly I know what I like. Again, I'm wearing those sheer text tights that are kind of like destroyed, but in a cool way. Not really super 60s looking having them like this. They'd probably just have some like normal sheer tights, but this is what I got, so you get the drift. You can just get normal sheer tights. Then for shoes, I got these in high school, and they're like these penny loafer kind of slippery things. I got them from H&M, I believe, but it's kind of a different alternative to, you know, like the heeled boots or Mary Janes that I usually will style. Personally, I just like wearing a heel, but for those of you who can't or don't like it or just need something different, these are great for that, like any kind of loafer looking shoe. The jacket I have is also a piece from high school. Most of these pieces I've like kept forever. It's kind of like a blazer cut, but loosely, I would say. It's kind of like a tweed is giving 60s. And then I just have a Beatles pin on it, which is not vintage. This next look is something a little more fun, a different color palette too, so you're welcome. The base item for this outfit that I was styling around was this little denim kind of baby doll cut dress. Baby doll was also something that was super popular then, so like with the empire waist. And maybe this isn't true baby doll because it's rather fitted, and normally baby doll like comes out, but we're gonna roll with it. I still think it looks very 60s, especially how I styled it here. The dress is given to me by my high school sweetheart and friend who just had a baby, so congrats to her. And just like layering a shirt underneath this does a lot. So you could do like a fun one with a collar or a pattern and have it like buttoned up all the way. I went with this short sleeve turtleneck that I got thrifting. Again, you can find these all over the place. In the 60s, depending on like what 60s style you're going for, it's hard to like speak broadly to encapsulate a whole decade. Something that was very popular then was color blocking and having like fun and playful color schemes. So with this green top, I thought it'd be fun to pick some blue tights. It was in my trend prediction video, and here it is in the flesh. But I paired that with this little purse that I thrifted. It's just got like a floral pattern. Florals were super popular then as well. For the shoes, these I thrifted. I think they are from American Eagle. I thought that the navy blue matched the denim really well with the dress. And you can't go wrong with like a little bit of a platform sandal. And then for earrings, I went with these earrings from my friend's brand, Mindflowers. Big statement earrings in that like circular shape, and then it has like a cutout where it's like thicker towards the bottom. So 60s. I actually have some true 60s earrings that are like that are just white. But these ones are fun because they have like a little cutout daisy in the center. I feel like without these little style elements, this outfit could look very modern day. Given the tights, given the earrings, given the turtleneck underneath, and with that color palette, it is really screaming 60s to me. Drink every time I say 60s in this video. Don't actually do that because I don't want anybody to get alcohol poisoning. We are shifting into some pant options because I know not everybody wants to wear skirts, or at least not all the time. This one is something that's a little more dressed up. It's kind of like a rock and roll pirate, which I like to think of myself as. Love this top. Like, it is a button up at the front, and it's just got like these huge ruffles. It's got these huge ruffles around the sleeves. Dandy fashion was very popular in the 60s. If you don't know what dandy fashion is, it was basically this resurgence of dandyism. Well, it started off in the 18th and 19th century, and then it revived in the 60s, obviously with like a little bit of a different take. So it's basically like just men who take pride in their appearance and love fashion, maybe a little bit flamboyant. They were kind of like imitating aristocratic style, even though he might come from like humble backgrounds. I feel like Brian Jones is the first example to pop into my head for a man who dressed in dandy style in the 60s, as well as the Kinks. Ray Davis specifically, I know I've seen some photos of him just wearing these like ruffly, flouncy shirts, lots of jewelry and vests, pinstriped pants and all of that. So this outfit is definitely inspired by some of the 60s dandyism. So ruffle tops, you can find them all over the place. You can find 80s ones and style them 60s, and 80s is a lot easier to find than 60s clothes, just because the decade was more recent. I feel like it's starting to come back now, so act fast, but it wasn't quite as sought after like a lot of 60s items are. I feel like a lot of people will still look at 80s and like turn up their nose. I love 80s fashion, I'll just say that, but there's a little tip for you if you're out in the thrift store. Don't turn away to the 80s blouses. Eat your heart out, Seinfeld. With this ruffly little top, I paired these pants, which are Anasui. I got them for $30. Can you believe that? Like, I have no idea what they would be full price. I got them off of The Real Real. I love shopping on The Real Real and the Vestiaire Collective. It's just basically like luxury consignment, and they will authenticate everything for you. So if you haven't heard of them, but these pants are from The Real Real. I'm obsessed with them. The rise is very 60s as well. Like, I feel like a lot of people think 60s and think like super high rise pants, when in reality that really came more with like the 70s and the 80s. Of course there was some from the 50s, but as we got into the 60s and into the early 70s, the waistline was kind of dropping. Like, mid-rise pants were very popular in the 60s, and low-rise, I know everybody hates to hear it, but it's true, baby, it's true. So these are some mid-rise pants, and I think that they're really flattering. The stripe, again, is very 60s. Pattern pants were super popular, especially striped pants. Either straight leg or like a kick flare was super popular. Not really the bell bottoms, but I think people mix up flared pants and bell bottoms a lot. These are like ultra flares too, and this is something that you can do at home, even with like very minimal sewing skills. And maybe we'll do a video where I show this. Maybe I don't even need to tell about it now. You can literally look up other videos if you want to learn right now how to make DIY flared pants. But this is something you can achieve at home, and I love the very 60s pattern that was added as the panels to make the flare more dramatic, and these just look scrumptious when you're walking. Again, I paired it with my black boots. These are kind of like my everyday shoes. For this belt, I went with another very classic option that I feel like you can find at a lot of places. This one I got thrifting. I don't know where it's from. A classic circle belt buckle. Pretty timeless, actually. And then the sunglasses, these are a good example, like I was saying about like tiny granny glasses. Colored lenses, tiny glasses, hit them up. These ones are off of Amazon. I wear them so much. I used to wear them like every single day for a while. But the pink matches the shirt perfectly. And it's giving that kind of like psychedelic granny takes a trip touch to this look. Okay, and finally, this is something that's a little more casual. This is something that I feel like you would see somebody like going to the bookstore wearing, or checking out a new record, you know, just going about their normal daily life, doing very mundane, normal things. And for this, I wanted to style around a t-shirt, but I also wanted to style around these pants because, like I said, the low rise and the straight leg. These pants I got thrifting. The tag is Juicy Couture, but they're kind of like this corduroy fabric that I really love. Again, corduroy was something super popular then too, so be on the lookout for any of that. I went with the square belt buckle again. I feel like people kind of discount t-shirts as not looking vintage, but people still dressed casually. Not everybody had like an amazing creative fashion sense or had like the urge to make every day a fashion show, and I think that's totally fine. I think more people, and that's gonna be how it is. Sometimes you don't want to dress up, you don't have the energy to dress up, or some people just don't care to at all, and that's fine. And the story was the same then. People were still wearing just like jeans and a t-shirt, and they don't all have to be like skin tight snug like this either. If this was a t-shirt that wasn't quite as fitted and had this crop, I might tuck it in to the pants. This jacket, I modeled for this company called Jacket New York, and they gave this to me as a gift for modeling for them. It is a little suede like moto jacket. Moto jackets were very popular then too. I added this scarf because I actually wore this outfit last night to rehearsal for this production that I'm a part of. But I feel like it's a fun little addition with some pattern, something that's totally timeless and very practical are actual like warm scarves like this. And then for shoes, these are like little Chelsea boots. These ones are tortoiseshell, which I feel like tortoiseshell is very 60s as well. And then to tie in with the tortoiseshell and the shoes, oh yeah, by the way, these shoes I got from Buffalo Exchange, but the bottom says Urban Outfitters. But to tie in the tortoiseshell, I went with these little sunglasses. Again, I got these from my mother-in-law's boutique. These are just like a little rectangle shape with the tortoiseshell frame, very classic. And then this hat, I always think of Edie Sedgwick with these hats. I don't know what they're called actually. I don't think it's a baker's hat because those are usually a little more structured and this is kind of like floppy. But this one I got thrifting. I don't think that it's vintage, but again, there's stuff that you can find all over the place and all over at thrift stores. I see them all the time. So those are my vintage inspired outfits using modern clothing pieces. I hope that this was helpful. I am sending you lots of love. I will catch you in the next one.